Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Dead Malls, your one-stop shop for malls, retail, and everything in the details. And welcome back. After my short little absence while in Houston, I am finally here to stay and here to finish out Season 5. Just 5 more episodes left. Today, as the sun set over the Windy City, I began my final adventure with the first Pittsburgh expedition, beginning with a mall that I had been dying to see for a long time. Gulf Mills Shopping Center, I'm just going to refer to it as Gulf Mill, was up there on my bucket list. A mall with 2 completely different identities of 2 completely different eras. And a mall with palm trees? Oh, right on my alley. And ladies and gentlemen, this mall did not disappoint. But before I spoil too much, I'd like to take a moment to shout out our winner who was able to successfully guess the next mall. Very nice job, Mall Fountain. If you'd like to have your chance of being shouted out in the next episode, stick around for the next challenge. Anyways, let's get in here, tell the story of, and see how Gulf Mill is doing as of my visit in December of 2022. Now, walking into Gulf Mill, I was struck by how busy it actually was, at least up front here by the food court. But once I go a little deeper and explore more of the mall, you'll just see how empty it gets. Also, I can guarantee you that a lot of these restaurants and name brands you see throughout have closed since this was filmed, as the mall itself is now in the heat of redevelopment. Let's get started with the story. Gulf Mill's story begins over 63 years ago in the booming Chicagoland suburb of Niles, Illinois. While the trend of indoor shopping centers was taking off across the country, that wasn't to say outdoor shopping wasn't still an option. In the late 50s, outdoor shopping centers akin to the indoor malls were still being built across the country, and in Niles, a brand new shopping center for the north side of Chicago was quickly breaking through the red tape, and soon would hit the ground running. Built by the Milwaukee Golf Development Group and to be the 8th major mall in the city, with Sears already signed on as its anchor, Gulf Mill Center, as it was then known, would quickly begin construction, with an opening date scheduled for autumn of 1960. Going down towards the old Sears here, you're gonna see just the remnants of 2006 with the renovation which occurred to make it look like it does today. And I'd like you to just memorize and remember all of this stuff. The tile flooring, the wooden benches, the palm plants, everything. And then when we go into the old north wing, you're gonna see how drastically different the mall once looked back in its prime. On October 12, 1960, the first 12 stores would open for business at the mall, with more to come later on, spread out between two different sections, the North Mall and the South Mall, with Sears dividing the two in the middle with its massive two-story big box anchor. Both sides retained an outdoor atmosphere, complete with small waterways, trees, benches, water wheels, and even a small mill. What residents of the metro were treated to was a modern and beautiful mall, featuring stores like Walgreens, Woolworths, Baker Shoes, Richmond's, and Litton's, while also featuring unique city tenants like a bank, candy shop, laundromat, and offices. Gulf Mill Center made itself known to its community that it was more than a mall. It was a community space, a place for anyone and everyone to go and do whatever they wanted. Building a mall with Sears as its centerpiece is probably the most 1960 thing I can think of. The Sears was unique though. It was one of the first stores to separate itself from the downtown department store trend, featuring a garden center, auto center, optical department, beauty salon, and even a coffee house cafe. As the year came around and 1960 morphed into 1961, the next additions would begin to unravel at the booming Gulf Mill. If anyone knows what this old tenant was here, this geometric boxy storefront, please let me know down below. I just love the inside here with the mirrored panel walls and the recessed zigzag. Oh, it's the best. And there's another storefront on the other end of the mall, and I'll point it out when we get there. But if anyone knows what either of them were, please let me know down below. I just love them too much. On October 18th, 1961, just over a year after opening, local-based department store Lord's would open up a new anchor on the south side of Gulf Mill as the end cap to the South Mall. Gulf Mill now made up around 650,000 square feet of leasable retail space, with over 68 stores filling it. But this was just the very beginning. In December, Gulf Mill Theaters would open a single-screen out parcel, which would morph over the years to include 3 screens by 1973. In 1963, the professional building would open in the South Mall complex, which you might see a little later on in little glimpses, as a 9-story office tower, shaped like a golf ball, to go along with the theming, of course. This all wasn't to say that the North Mall wasn't receiving love. While the water mill was turning and stores were packed day to day, a brand new project was under construction. And in 1965, a revolutionary new venue would open. Literally, not to service just the mall, but the entire city. I was pretty fascinated being here and just thinking about how these abandoned storefronts stuck in 2006 and these ceilings would have all at one point not have been here. how these exact bland white and boring empty hallways would have once been filled with natural sunlight, trees, and the splashing sounds of the watermill as streams trickled in and out of the various pathways. I tend to forget that this visit was back in December of 2022. Boy, do I have a lot of footage to get to yet, and a lot of cool stuff to show you guys. But I respected the hell out of Gulf Mill for actually putting in a lot of effort with the decorations. It's not often that you find owners that care about that sort of stuff, especially in dead malls. But in Gulf Mill, I think they were really expecting Saint Nick himself to walk through those doors at any moment. On July 12, 1965, the Mill Run Playhouse would open in the North Mall as a brand new entertainment venue. Able to hold up to 1,800 people with live performances every night, it was in every sense of the word revolutionary, as the Playhouse could literally revolve around the stage. This antic would sometimes blow back in its face, however, causing patrons to throw up in the aisles, as people who watched the shows were usually very drunk adults who had just waddled in from the nearby Millionaire's Cocktail Bar, or the Playhouse's bar itself. Such notable performances would see the Jackson 5, Diana Ross, Ray Charles, Frank Sinatra, and Little River Band pack the house, and this new entertainment venue would only flourish into the 70s, along with the mall boosting its success. By 1965, Lord's, the southern anchor, would go out of business. Not to fear, however, as JCPenney was looking to tap into the mall market. They would go on to buy the space and expand it into a brand new 2-level JCPenney anchor, with an adjacent auto center. The store would open for business in October of 1966. By the 1970s, Gulf Mill Center was a very well-established mall in its community. The constant additions, renovations, and family-friendly outdoor shopping atmosphere was serving it very well. Even with the openings of malls like Woodfield and Northbrook Court, Gulf Mill retained a strong tenant base. It wasn't until the 1980s in which the next changes were bound to come. Changes that would see Gulf Mill transformed into a more climatized shopping environment. As we begin the next era for Gulf Mill, we're gonna switch vibes because, as per usual on the channel here, I like the music to fit the era and the mood of the mall, and at Gulf Mill there was a fresh hint of 80s optimism, because outdoor malls, they just weren't at that gold standard yet. And with the coming renovations, residents were hopeful that Gulf Mill could be saved. Down here by the old JCPenney, you'll see the entry area for the office tower, and through skylights, you might even see hints of the golf ball shaped building yourself, so keep your eyes peeled.
These tops and hats for different boys are made in the USA and are available in a rainbow of colors at a low catering price. Whether you're restoring a home or falling apart, the key to success is organization. Fortunately, Rubbermaid makes all the things you need to entrepreneur.
It's not very often that I go into a mall that has a lobby with elevators taking you up into where people work, but lo and behold, Golf Mill breaks another expectation. But below that lies that other boxy storefront that I was talking about earlier. If anyone knows what this once was, please let me know down below. Toy store or music store? As a dead mauler, it's always a good day when you get to see epic fail directory. I'm glad that they've found a home here named Golf Mill built into the walls of abandoned storefronts. Fantastic. In August of 1984, the entire mall would be closed for renovations. Or should I say, enclosed for renovations. An overhaul, if you will. $40 million would be spent over the coming years to enclose the entire mall and add dozens of new stores, anchors, and a food court. First, the North Mall would be enclosed with the now dead Mill Run Playhouse, which the mall decided not to renew the lease for, would be demolished and replaced with a new northern anchor, Illinois-based Main Street, which opened in November of 1985. Next, a vacant Woolworths at the front entrance of the mall would be gutted and turned into a new 18-bay food court. The mall would be officially reopened on November 19th, 1986, now in line with some of the nicest malls in the metro. Sadly, its water wheel, mill, and several outdoorsy features would be torn down and turned into enclosed mall space. What the new mall featured was what you see left of the north wing, which we'll get to. Burnt brown colors, trees, benches, tile floors, Marquette-wrapped skylights, and in the center court, a massive fountain. These additions, along with hundreds of new neon-lit stores and the food court, would drive the mall into a new era. Now with over 150 tenants, Main Street would be rebranded as Kohl's in 1989, and Golf Mill Shopping Center, as it was now known, was driven to excel into the 90s. As we leave the South Mall and we make our way around Sears into the North Mall, I want you to just take one last look around. Remember what you see. And remember that none of this will be here within a few years, as the entire mall is going to be redeveloped. Little did I know that this would be my last time in Golf Mill. Let me tell you, walking into the North Mall was a weird and bizarre feeling. It still had that holiday magic with the decorations, but it was just purely lifeless. No music, no sound, just the feelings of the holidays trapped inside of those walls in an infinite lost purgatory. And it was almost like time itself had stopped. Everything was moving in slow motion, and I cautiously made my way deeper and deeper into the ward of emptiness. It wasn't until 1998 that the next addition would come to the mall, with a brand new Target being built on the north side. By 2000, the extremely old and abandoned movie house, which had been sitting vacant for years in the parking lot, would be torn down, and in 2006 replaced with a brand new Carasotes Showplace 12. This theater would open in November, alongside a massive renovation of the South Mall, removing almost every aesthetic from 1986. Gone were the tiles and the trees, half of the food court, and in were the aesthetics you see today: palm tree planters and white tile flooring. This renovation was in part a complement to the new theater being built. Strangely enough, however, the North Mall section was left completely untouched and still retains its 1986 looks today. These new renovations and additions would get the mall through the late 2000s. However, by the early 2010s, it was becoming clear Golf Mill was on borrowed time. Shortly after the reno, a Value City Furniture would replace the main North Mall entrance, and soon almost every original tenant to that hallway was lost, either put out of business as people didn't even know it still existed, or moved into the South Mall. But even in the South Mall, those big names you knew were leaving. In December of 2018, Sears, the OG, and the one to literally bring the mall together, would leave. After 58 years of unity at Golf Mill between its two wings, through thick and thin, outdoor and indoor, it was now broken, and without Sears as an island to connect the mall, it would begin to suffocate and lose stores at a breakneck pace, as each day, less and less would visit the dying mall. Just one Christmas track, just one from the old Kmart archives. I just had to, as when I recorded this video, it was the merry time itself, and it breaks my heart because I think about how all of these Christmas decorations were strung up, put up for visitors to see and admire, but those visitors never came. And I didn't get it on camera, but there was a janitor down by the old Sears entrance who was taking their time mopping the floors. And it's just heartbreaking because it's good to know that even when a mall is in the end, there's still people who care enough to clean it up and to put up the decorations. By 2022, Golf Mill was recognized as one of the most endangered malls in the metro. The current owners, the Sterling organization, would announce plans for a $429 million redevelopment in January. And this redevelopment is actually really interesting, as the mall will essentially be returned to its open-air format. With the old Sears and the professional building being demolished, it'll still be a mall, but an outdoor one, now up to the modern standard. It'll even be bringing back the ponds and the water wheel. Known as the Golf Mill Town Center, the work is expected to begin in early 2024. I would usually ask you what you guys think the future holds for Golf Mill, but really, we already know. It's going to be redeveloped. Can this redevelopment pull it back, however, is the big question. Can Golf Mill still be the thriving community hub it was once designed to be? And how will this redevelopment affect the area? Let me know what you guys think down below. Guys, I want to thank you so much for watching tonight's episode. Golf Mill was, like I said, one of my bucket list malls, and to have it finally checked off is a big win for me. If any of you are ever in the area, stop by Golf Mill and walk around the mall for yourself. Hurry, you don't have much time. If you guys enjoy my Dead Mall content, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future Dead Malls episodes. I'm trying to reach 10,000 by the end of Season 5, so tell your brothers, sisters, fathers, mothers, grandmothers, and even your dog, yes, tell your dog too, to subscribe. Next week, as we continue our Pittsburgh expedition, we will begin Day 2 in the Central Ohio area at a mall where East meets West. If only it wasn't a mall that made me violently ill for 2 weeks. Guess which mall we'll be at, and I'll shout you out in the next episode. But until then, have yourselves a lovely day, and peace out, guys. See you later.